What is going on, my friends? This is arguably the most important thing that we will go over because DMs are extremely important. Okay? You don't think people that know DMs are important know the importance of DMs. People that don't or are just starting out, they don't think DMs are important at all. They think writing content and all of this other stuff that doesn't result in growth is important because you haven't been exposed to either the information that I'm going to tell you or have told you. But DMs need to be your absolute number one priority if you want to grow. Okay? So, we went over the non needy networking process, which is pretty much find someone that you want to DM, send them an inspired compliment, show interest in them, lead with value, get on a call, follow up with value, follow up with an ask. And now all of this is somewhat, how would you put it? It's optional, right? Because this is like you can't create a script for genuine human conversation or genuine interest, right? I feel like just most people are antisocial and don't understand like communication 101. This script goes many different ways, and I would say that this actually says a lot about content creation as a whole, is that it's the whole principles versus methods thing, where there's a set number of principles and then there's a billion different methods to talk about those principles in different contexts. So, for example, this could be used as a sales script. This could be used as a Tinder script if you're trying to find a new boyfriend or girlfriend. It's communication. It's the same thing. If you get good at communication, then you can connect with other people, exchange value, and go from there. It's like when back in centuries ago, you weren't able to send someone a DM, right? You had to have connections either at the school you went to, your parents had to have wealthy connections, whatever it may be. On Twitter, you can DM someone who has like a 10 billion figure real estate business, reach out to them, make friends with them, show that you're a cool person and that you have some form of value to exchange, whether it be a large audience, a product, just information, different types of leverage, right? Social leverage, informational leverage, all of that different things. Then if you get in with that person, then you have someone you can reach out to get either information you need or connections you need in order to break into real estate or whatever other things that they have, right? And the good thing about this is like when you are an absolute beginner, if you can navigate your way through the DMs, you will have no problem landing clients. Excuse me, because that's like what people recommend when you're first starting out as like a freelancer or a consultant. You have to send cold outreach messages. That you just must. There's no way around it. And so when you're a beginner, this is a must. There is no way around this. And that's the main thing. So the first question is, how do you find people to DM? So you can search for stuff all day, but you're not going to find anything. The main thing is you need to get immersed in the community. You need to follow other people and start engaging with other people and get your name out there and start DMing them, right? So even just on my timeline, it's like I have Hustle and Conquer. I could DM him right now based on this tweet. I have Joey, right? You start to follow people and get to know people in the space, and that's how you connect and network and work with them. And you can build a full-time income off of that alone and build a lot of leverage off of that alone, okay? So let's see what you can do. So let's say we're in the fitness space. Let's say you already follow one person, right? So how do you turn one person into multiple people to actually DM? So we have Tyler. I would make sure that they have a decent sized following, right? Because then you know other creators are following them because creators follow other creators. And so then you can look in here. You can go to the comments and you can start interacting with these people. So there's Stephen, who I know very well. He's a close friend, so you could follow him. Just follow him. You could like this. You could reply to it and get your name out there. Start to introduce yourself to him. You could reply to Tyler's stuff. Let's see, Alex Hart. Looks like he's trying to grow, right? So he has 680 followers. So if you have anything under 1,000 followers, this would be a great guy to connect, network, and start masterminding with, or at least just building connections with people that are around your same follower count, right? And so let's see. Patrick also look like he's growing. See, this is how you find more people to follow. He's just starting out, right? So you can find people that are just starting out. You can connect and network with them. And I've already found 4 or 5, however many, all of these people are trying to grow, right? So you can reach out to anyone in these comments, and you can do this for as many people as you want. Like, it'll be harder once you start looking at larger accounts. Like if you were to try to find people on Naval's thing, a lot of creators respond to Naval's thing, but it'll be harder to find those people, right? So you can go through here. I know this guy. All of the people that I know are showing up first, of course, but you can find people. I know the Naked Poet is good. Mind Health Money, literally everyone, right? So you can just reach out to these people. You have endless amounts of people to DM if you are just immersed in the actual space itself and are a part of the community, right? You have to become a part of the community at first. And now the next thing is, what do you send? So let's say Focused Warrior, I haven't DM'd him before, but I want to DM him. Actually, I screwed that up. You look at this stuff. Oh man, he hasn't posted in a while. But let's just like take it as an example. Trying to stop your thoughts is like trying to solve an imaginary problem. And it's like, okay, you can do this with anything, right? You would send it to Focused Warrior. And then what would I say to that? So it's about imaginary thoughts causing problems. You just be like, dude, just had this happen the other day. Was so worried about the stupidest shit, right? And on Twitter specifically, this may or may not work on LinkedIn, but on Twitter you want to speak like yourself. Like Twitter is very authentic and genuine platform, and you should just talk like you would, right? Talk like you would text another person. And so I say this, it's not even really an inspired compliment by any means, but you can send those and be like, oh, this resonated with me a lot. But it's just like, tell them part of a story where it's like, dude, this just happened, was worried about the stupidest shit. And then they'll respond and be like, LOL, yeah, man, it's crazy. And then you go on to the next step, which is show interest in them. So it's like, what are they working on, right? So he doesn't have anything here. But if he did have something, I could be like let's say he had a link to a newsletter, and so it's like, what's your next newsletter going to be about? I was looking at it and it looks great, right? You're showing interest in them. If they don't have anything, then it's like, are you working on anything right now? Like, are you building a product? Are you launching something? Just ask a question. It's a genuine conversation that you're having here in order to make a connection. And then the next step after that is lead with value. So if you have anything that can help with that, like if I asked about his newsletter, where it's like, what's your next newsletter going to be about? I really like it. And let's say he says whatever, right? And then I need to lead with value. So if I have information on how to make a newsletter better, I would send it to him. If I know a resource that would make a newsletter better, which I do, his name goes by Sean Anthony, who is the email rainmaker, right? He's helped me a lot with my newsletter. He has a course on newsletters, and I could connect them too, right? And they're around similar follower counts, so even better. I could be like, hey man, this guy's looking to get help with his newsletter. He'll see the value in that because Focused Warrior has 11,000 followers. So like, you just send resources, and if you don't have anything, it's like, do some research yourself. How to write a great newsletter. So search on YouTube, 9 simple newsletter writing best practices. You can send them something that stuck out to you from that. You could be like, oh, I was watching this the other day, and you can send it over to them, right? It's as simple as that. You find value and you give it to them if you don't have anything that you can help with. If you have some kind of email system, which I do kind of, like in the Creator Command Center, I could go over here and I could send him the like my template for how I write newsletters. I just did this with Justin the other day where I sent him this, gave him a brief rundown. He's like, "Oh, thank you so much, man." And it's like, I already have these things built out. I can share them with other people to give them free value and help them, right? And now you have a great connection that you can lean on. And so now what you can do next is you can either ask them to get on a call. If it seems right, you can continue the conversation. You can then again follow up with value, so you can send them something else, and then you can follow up with an ask. So when it comes time, let's say that I wrote a thread on, I don't know, something that he talks about, either like a newsletter, or let's say like I write something about how to write a good newsletter and I send it to him and be like, "Hey, this is what I was talking about the other day." Or if I write something related to his tweet that inspired me about like mental stuff and imaginary problems, I could write my own rendition of that tweet and send it to him, or a thread on getting over that and send it to him and just be like, "Hey man, you inspired this." And boom, he'll probably retweet it. So I want to go over conversation with Dickie Bush because he does this very well. And like, this is just how you build connections in general. So he sent me the first DM, which was, this all looks screwed up. "Hey Dan, thoroughly enjoyed your chat with my man Danny. I went on a podcast with Danny Miranda. He listened to it, and he's been saying iteration and awareness for a few days now. Super powerful. I find myself rotating with 2-word mantras like that quite a bit. My most recent was intention and ease, mostly a reminder to not make things harder than they need to be." Right? So it's like, why would I not respond to this? It's kind of a given, right? So he listened to a podcast, he sent me an inspired compliment, and I said, "Yo, what's up, man? Nice to meet you." And of course I'm going to respond as well because he has a lot of followers, but we built a pretty good connection off of that. And he went straight into this. So it just shows you that this is what I'm giving you is a script, right? It's a script and it's a step-by-step thing, but it doesn't have to go that way. And so he just left it at that. That's it, right? Where it's like, you send this and then I sent this back. And it's like, he doesn't have to reply to this. This doesn't even elicit a reply. And so he hits me up later and he says, "Thought you'd enjoy this, something that should be required reading before people get email privileges," right? And so I saw it. I'm pretty sure, let's see if I liked it. I didn't like it, but I should have liked and retweeted this, right? And then he sent me this one almost a month later, but we got on Telegram and we started talking there. So there's missing pieces here. We ended up getting on a podcast together. We did a bunch of things, right? So we technically went through the steps of like taking the connection off of Twitter, getting on a call. We did a podcast, things like that. And then he followed back up and he asked me some questions, and then we started a thing here, right? So he's kind of repeating this process, but it's not salesy at all. It's like, I know what he's doing, but he's doing it because he wants that mutual benefit between us two. So he sent this when I was talking about health stuff, and so we started talking about health. I talked about how I fast, and then he sent me another thing. "Through this together after a bit of reflection. Appreciate you bringing the positive energy around here, friend." And so this is related to health. What do you know? He created something. And then I asked him, "What's it for?" Whoop. I ended up buying a Whoop. And the conversation just goes on, right? And now I have a great connection and we've been helping each other. He just sent me literally yesterday, he sent me a tip for growing on LinkedIn. So you have to get in the habit of consistently sending people in your network valuable information in exchange for a potential trade, whether it be a retweet or really anything. You just kind of send the content. You send the content over and be like, "Hey man, I wrote this." That's it. And if you do that enough times, because this isn't going to, like, you're not going to blow up after 1, 2, or 3 DMs. This is a constant process, a lifetime process, right? 6 to 12 months is the minimum that I would give this entire venture before you pack it up and call it quits, which I wouldn't recommend either way. And that's the main thing for this. So I hope that explains DMs a bit better and gives you a broader understanding of what you can accomplish with them. And this goes into the next section on forming a mastermind as well, because we are in Dickie and I are in a content mastermind where we kind of just send, it's not an engagement group, it's not a retweet group or anything. We just send our posts, and if we like them, we engage with them and just talk about how they were good or not. So there's a lot of different options with this. And so, yeah, you could invite him to like an engagement group or just something of that sort. That's pretty much it. I think that covers it all. So I'll see you in the next video.